So on Tuesday we had the big league debate, and shout out to NonDoc and League of Women Voters and News 9 and all the folks that put this on. It's not easy to put these shows on. Just the setup for this is David Holt did not appear, and there was a lot of shenanigans, and Adriana was kind enough. We had conflicting meetings that evening, and Adriana was nice enough to take over the Twitter and did an awesome job, live tweeting the hot takes. So,
man.
Yeah, absolute shit show of the debate.
Yeah, so
tell the people.
Oh man, it was a mess, bro. I went in there knowing it was gonna be a mess and that Carol Hefner and Frank Orbanek are racist, but I had no idea how racist until we got there, and then it got even worse afterwards in the conversations I had with them, which I'll get to.
They're tell it to your face racist.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna get to it. So, it started out hilariously. Within the first 5 seconds, the whole audience was cracking up because they roll out this damn picture and a mic for Mayor David Holt, who decided he just didn't want to show up. Apparently this wasn't worth his time, so he didn't come. I thought it was hilarious. Urbanik got to have the opening comments, which he closed by reading a glowing endorsement letter from Carol Hefner. The look on her face was priceless. Oh, man. So then Carol Hefner basically starts talking about how she's this proud Lebanese immigrant woman and she sits on all these nonprofit boards and just all of these things. And I'm like, okay, that's really interesting because the only thing I know about you is just that you're some stupid, rich, crazy white woman. So great. Then she goes on to talk about how she spoke to 92 homeless people and 89 of them said they were given a bus ticket and some cash from the West and they had no way to get home. So no, we should not house the homeless. We should send them back. Yo. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
I'm pulling up OKC Span's take on that because I'll just read it for the folks that don't have their screens up. Fucking most important tweet of my life. They're your neighbors, folks. I know it sucks, but these are people from your community. In response to Oklahoma City is not drawing homelessness from other places.
It's just, it's insane. The things I heard that day. Urbanik is all on stage touting about how he sued the city and won to open the bars and restaurants back up. And it's just great, you're bragging about murdering people.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Granted, David Holt was stupid for only 11 p.m. curfew, COVID only comes out after 11. But you are touting about murdering people.
Yeah, and he talks about it like he saved those businesses. But a bigger save would have been to let them still be closed due to go whatever, but have governmental assistance, which was not really given out very well in the county, as we well know, with everything that happened with the CARES Act money. Moved back every time.
Yes, and it spoke volumes to me when he says, I know I'm a defense attorney, but I told the FOP that I would stand with the police against protesters. You're going to stand with one of the deadliest law enforcement agencies in the country against people who are just fighting for the right to exist? Literally crying for the right to be able to exist and not be murdered by police. Or, whatever it is we're fighting for that day. The right to be, live and be gay. The right to whatever, be an immigrant. Fuck. Those are the guys you want to stand with? Bet. They asked Carol Hefner at one point about her racist remarks on social media, and she went on a whole tangent. I don't even know what the hell she was talking about until she gets to the end where she's like, I don't know how to fix it, but I'm open to having those conversations. You don't know how to fix being a racist? I do.
Stop.
I do.
Yeah.
I'll meet you in that back alleyway and I bet you we can fix your racism real quick, sis. This is insanity. So I go talk to all three of the candidates after, and it was a shit show. These people are crazy. Urbanik starts going on a whole rant about homeless people and how housing first basically just enables them to not do anything for themselves and all of this stuff. And people of color need to, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, basically. And I'm just like, most of the people who are on welfare and receiving government assistance are white, right?
Yeah.
Like, overwhelmingly, you want to talk to me about people of color. Okay. Carol Hefner goes on to tell me that her family never owned slaves, but she has black relatives in Louisiana.
What?
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like your family may have owned slaves. And then she goes on to tell me all slavery is bad. All slavery matters.
Okay. She's on the anti-slavery bill. I guess she's on that train where they're trying to change the language of how you talk about slavery when you teach it. It can't seem like
because
the US was the
she's
only place that did it.
Native Americans were the first enslavers, and white people were slaves too. And
oh my God.
Okay, Carol.
Or that because she also picked up that she made.
Yes,
anti-Muslim comments, and that's also part of that whole.
Oh my God,
in the zeitgeist of alt-right Christian nationalism, is they're quick to point out, be like, we kept slaves and used the Bible to justify it, but so did the Muslim folks too.
And it's crazy because she was like,
racist.
We have to basically abolish Islam. And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Which was very bold to say.
Are you kidding me, y'all? This is it's hilarious to talk about, but it's really fucking scary when you think about these are literally people that we are voting for on a ballot. Yes. This is real life. If this was TV, I would tune in all day, but this is our real life. This is not.
And then Carol brings up her endorsement from the Canadian County Sheriff Chris West. It's
the insurrectionist.
Yes, that is not a gold star. I am
definitely not the man in this picture. That is definitely a picture of me.
Right.
Not me, guys.
Evidence that his cell phone pinged from inside the Capitol
Bro.
on the day, and he's like, I couldn't see it from where I was at. I couldn't see it.
Somehow my cell phone did,
This
though.
motherfucker was inside, bro.
How has he not been picked up by the FBI? Serious question.
How have a lot of people not been picked up by the FBI? And if we're fucking punishing people to death, why are we not doing that to, and I am not a proponent of the death penalty, but if anyone should be sentenced to death, it should be, treasoners, right?
That definitely has a
those
long history in white
treason.
Culture. You definitely walk the plank. Yeah. I'd be fine with them cooling off in an FBI interrogation room for a few hours. Minimum. I'm okay with just having a few words. I don't know.
Abolish jails, except for killer cops and crazy white racists who like to take over the country. I don't know.
I think some of the only real, I don't want to say real issues, but besides all the homeless banter that Frank and Carol were doing, Urbanek brought up the streetcars and his whole defund the streetcars and then stoplight reform, which okay, I can kind of get behind, but when you put those words with it, it just makes you sound like a jackass. It's rude.
I think it's interesting because to me it speaks to, and it's kind of why I think liberals get so nervous about the defund thing is actually a really good slogan. And I will die on this hill. I genuinely believe, defund the police doesn't pull well because people like the police and there's all sorts, but I think it's a very simple and honest slogan that, if done right, would be very popular. And I think the right trying to co-opt it shows why it's actually.
Yeah. And it's crazy because for the Democrats, the party will always tell the left, oh, you can't say this because it's divisive, and you can't do this because people won't jump on board. And then literally the right just co-ops our shit, and it's we couldn't do it for what reason?
Yeah, please.
Because now they're doing it. Literally abolish the streetcar. I thought it was fucking hilarious, bro.
I agree.
He has a good point. Yeah, it's useless.
It's useless, and it could have been put in an area where it would have been used, but they put it downtown. I don't know why.
Nope.
But
there's so much history. We could do. I could definitely organize the streetcar episode of this podcast.
Can we host Urbanic on here? Because
after the election, I want him in free press. But afterwards, it would be pretty. Yeah, once he gets clapped. No, because I mean, there is. I mean,
metaphorically.
The history of the streetcar is like one of just like comedy of errors / terrible public investment / like coulda, woulda, shoulda been way better than it was.
Waste of time and energy.
Yeah.
So what we should do with the streetcar to make it useful is just start putting all the homeless people on it.
Oh my God. Don't give them ideas. They will run.
I swear to God. They will have like, let me not get myself canceled. I am not trying to get myself canceled. I'm just saying it's fucking useless, waste of space, and there are people who could occupy it.
Yeah.
It could connect people to resources. That's
there you go.
That's what I would. That's more diplomatic way.
Like, if
Does
was
it go by
put-
diversion hub?
Yeah.
Like we could literally make this a thing.
By everything downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's only downtown. Like, if it would have connected downtown to, like, the east side or even the freaking north side.
Exactly.
We would have, it would be a completely different conversation right now.
Yeah.
But it's not. It takes you in, like, the same loop around downtown.
And I think it's really interesting how this is a little bit off topic, but it's really interesting how we are getting this new rapid transit system in the city, and they did not prioritize the east side. Why is I think Northwest Expressway is the first place
I'm
getting
getting
the
BRT stopped literally a block from my house. Like,
yeah, like what the fuck?
They don't need it. They don't.
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
people
sure,
do
Northwest
need it, but not
Expressway is a
as much
shit
as the
show,
east
but
side. Yeah.
the east side is literally, I would still consider it a food desert. Like, okay, we got a market, a produce market, and a grocery store
The Homeland
for the
doesn't count-
whole
that's not
side
the
of
east
town,
side.
bro.
Yeah. It's
Like,
36 in Lincoln. Like, that's just barely in the east side.
Yeah.
like, people need to get to things, and y'all don't.
Yeah, follow the old interurban routes. Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, the very short, condensed version of the streetcar thing is like multiple people who sat on the subcommittee that picked the route owned property on the route. Like, literally, like, property owners where the streetcar ended up going voted basically to put the streetcar, like, where, and there is
Chesapeake and all that.
tons of, I mean, with people on Automobile Alley, people, like, I mean, it's just, it is like kind of textbook corruption and just textbook like, I mean, yeah.
The furthest it goes up is what, 10th Street?
Is
that their 13th?
Like 11th or 12th. It's between 10th and 13th.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would literally make sense if we had like people wanting to be here and like do tourism and do things and go to these businesses. Like, what the fuck? Ain't nobody riding the streetcar, bro.
Yeah. And of course, then the pandemic and, I mean, ridership. Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
people
just
who
great.
ride the streetcar are like stay-at-home moms who like want to go take their
Get
kids
out
to do
for the
something for the
day.
day. So like, let's just go ride the streetcars.
Literally, actually, it's funny as hell. The only person I know who's ever rode the streetcar was Marty Piercy when he was babysitting my daughter. He took her on the streetcar to give her something to do. That's literally what it's good for.
Yes.
Like,
It's basically an amusement park ride.
and then Marty
Yeah.
notification
And
on Twitter.
comparing it to the bus rapid transit that's coming, I mean, the streetcar investment was many times what we're going to spend on the BRT. And the BRT is going to connect. I mean, while I agree with the critique that it should definitely go to the east side of the city, it's going to connect it like a huge
It
part of the
will
city.
eventually, but the problem is ultimately that they didn't prioritize
Yeah.
the areas that needed it the most.
Yeah.
But
So, and of course, you know, from what I've gathered from this debate, like, you know, Urbanic's just against the streetcar. He's not like for prioritizing the east side or for like helping, you know, expand city services to people that need them or helping to solve literally any problem that we actually have. I mean, and same with Carol Hefner and the whole homeless thing. I mean, like, you know, the frankly, in my opinion, very evil things they said about homelessness. Like, none of that's like, one, you're not even telling the truth about the problem. So, but it's like you also have no solution. I mean, and while you can criticize housing first as some sort of, I guess, like deep state socialist plot to like give people homes so they, you know, like it is an actual solution, you know, because like as a resident of the city who has homeless encampments, you know, at the end of our neighborhood, it's like I would much rather these folks have an apartment somewhere that was taken care of for them, and I'd be willing to even pay tax dollars for that because what they're doing now is not safe, healthy, clean, whatever. I mean,
and
it's
the thing that really kills me is that it's like when you hear a lot of people talk about our housing insecure neighbors, they're like basically just annoyed with the fact that there's people living on the street. Like, where the fuck is the humanity? These are people too.
Yeah.
No one born in this country or any other country, but this one, the richest country in the world, no one born here should have to worry about food, a place to stay, transportation, health care, child care.
Yeah,
like
the US
don't fucking come at me, bro. Like, you're tired of seeing these people be outside because it's an inconvenience to you. Like, I will fight you. Like, I literally, on the way here, almost got in a fight with the lady at a gas station for yelling at a homeless man. All I wanted was my body armor, but don't yell at him. Like, don't talk to people. Like, treat people with respect, or I will fight you in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is just a basic human decency thing at a certain level of just how much we disregard our fellow neighbors and use these like sort of convenient lies to justify it, as if like somebody catching a bus from California also makes them deserve to like be forced to live on the streets.
I swear to God, I thought she was gonna start chanting like "send them back" or "build the wall," like build the wall between here and the West. Like, it was so bad.
I know. Also, too, like, just the idea of anybody who's had to interface with public services in Oklahoma, that you would, like, choose Oklahoma to be the place you would come to receive public services.
Because I tell you right now, in California, if you're homeless, you can get a freaking voucher to stay at a hotel. Like, they will pay for that.
Yeah.
I found that out when I was in California. Like, I would go be homeless there. Like,
and then the weather is, like, infinitely better on any given day.
Bruh.
Like... Anyway, so yeah, any other takeaways from it? I mean, any comments on Jimmy or
so
how is his?
Y'all know Jimmy is my candidate who I'm supporting in this race. I will say that there were a couple issues that I felt like he could have been stronger and hit harder on, but I also will say that we need to show Jimmy some love and some grace because he is just another everyday citizen who, you know, felt the need to step up and fill a role. And so, and he's also open to having conversations with the community and seeing what, you know, he needs to do, what people want him to do. And so I fucks with Jimmy tough, and my overall takeaway was that Carol Hefner and Frank Urbanic want to kill all poor people, so vote for Jimmy because at least he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, they want to kill all poor people and they want to kill each other because that's
and
the
they want to
debate.
kill each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it felt like a fight between Carol and Frank, and then Jimmy was just there being, you know, like the voice of reason throughout it all, and then Mayor Holt was just
there
pretty
on his
picture
podium.
Yeah.
Picture in a microphone. I mean, honestly, that's a very like that's kind of how you feel about David Holt generally. Is like he's a pretty picture in a microphone.
Oh, I gave yes.
Dropping it at Kings of Leon. You know?
Yeah, Mayor McSelfie.
But like, so I mean, there've been a lot of critiques out there about like, well, Holt shouldn't have gone because that gives these people credibility, even though it's like literally the one woman on stage has a fucking highway named and a lake named after her family. So you know, I think she's got credibility in some corners of this community.
And Urbanic is hosting fundraisers with Jackson Laymeyer and the other extremists in the right, you know, so it's not like you're delegitimizing these people by not showing up. If anything, I literally heard Holt voters at the debate like saying that they were gonna not vote for him, and I'm like, you're stupid. You are literally further legitimizing these crazy people.
Right.
So good job.
Yeah, and my deal is like Holt, I mean, for all the things I disagree with him on politically or policy wise, like he is good at being very popular. He is like relatively good at communicating, like at the early part of the pandemic when he had to sell the mask mandate and all that. I mean,
fuck David Holt.
I get it, but I'm saying like he could have shown up and fought these guys. Like these people aren't like in the same weight class as him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, like he could have gone in the ring, thrown a few haymakers, even stayed Mayor McSelfie or Mayor Nice Guy or whatever he thinks he is, and just really delegitimize them via that. To me, it's just a certain level of cowardice to like just not show.
Realistically, he would have showed up and ate all of the other candidates alive, most likely.
Yeah,
so it's
they would
like
have said something, and he would have been like, "Actually, that really has nothing to do."
You're
with
the only
what's
person
going
here
on."
who actually knows what it means to be mayor, like how to run the city. Like you actually would have, you know, it only would have been further points for you.
Right.
And you fucked up. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it would go, you know, Holt's an empty suit, which I agree with, but it would have gone to some extent of like maybe showing that he's not, because my deal is like knowing him. I don't know him privately, I shouldn't say, but knowing people that know him privately, like they think he's a smart guy. They think like whatever, good things about him that I disagree with. But yeah, he could have shown that, and instead he just decided not to show up. And
just like he didn't show up for Julius Jones or Benny Edwards or Stavian Rodriguez or
literally anybody.
anything. So
and again, these are all easy wins. Like even, anyway, is why I will be eternally frustrated with Holt, is because he can show up during the George Floyd protests and take the knee and do some of the symbolic stuff, but it's like in every other aspect of that, he's a no-show.
He took a knee, and that was all he did. He did not put forth any policy or bruh. That's why he's Mayor McSelfie. You're a photo op, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.